Hello friends and welcome to Pathologic Volume 7 Episode 19. Today we are going to revisit a genre from just a few days back. This is called a Tapa-Like Loop, so check out that video if you want a more gentle introduction before we dive into a supersized one today. And a reminder that Gen Con starts in just a few days, and if you are going there, I would love if you would swing by and see me at the Grand Gamers booth in the morning, in the vendor hall, every morning. And before we get to that, we've got to solve some more puzzles to tide us over, and we will look at today's right after we get a reminder of the rules. In a Tapa-Like loop, we will draw a non-intersecting loop through the centers of some empty cells. This is the same loop rule that we see in many puzzles. We're going to be drawing this line horizontally and vertically only, and we don't have to be using every cell in the grid. Clues represent the numbers of consecutive cells occupied by the loop each time it enters the up to 8 cells surrounding the clue. So think of these clues as having a domain around them of the 8 surrounding cells, and the numbers represent the path lengths within that area. So the 8 tells us that all 8 of these cells are involved in the loop, and they're all visited in one stretch of 8. The same with this 4. It's saying that 4 of these 5 cells are involved in the loop, and they are all seen within a single pass. This 1-7, on the other hand, means that though all 8 are included, because 1 plus 7 is 8, it's saying we see 7, and then we leave and come back and see 1 more. So you can see 7 right there, and 1 right there. Those are the rules of Tapa-Like Loop, so it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's supersized Tapa-Like Loop was set by Freddie Hand. I'm going to begin by refreshing our memory of a deduction we made about ones in these puzzles, and that is that a clue with a 1 in it cannot refer to one of the north, south, east, or west cells, because those would all require at least one of the directions of the loop to go into another cell, making it at least a 2. So any 1s refer to corner cells. And so right up here, the 2 1s in question have to be these 2 cells, and the line has to go in and out of them immediately. And in this case, all 4 of these do that. In this case and this case, we've got a 1 and some other stuff. So we know that property is still going to exist, but we don't know exactly where it happens. But we'll keep an eye on that for later. So let's see what we can do with these line segments we've begun with. This one can't go north because it would get dead-ended. So it comes down here. We've got to do this to stop it from dead-ending early. And this has become all 3. Actually, we could have done it from that direction as well. All 3 that we need for one of these. So it needs to leave and not become a 4. So it needs to come down here. And this one also needs to be a 3. So it's going to come down here and not go west, but it could go either south or east to leave the vicinity of this clue. This has got to keep on going down, and it's got to be a 4 because we've got 2 4s here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to see all 4 of those and then leave. This end has also got to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then leave, but it could leave in either direction. This end can't go left because if it did, we would see at least, well, we would see more than 2 for sure, many more than 2 cells. So this has got to go east, and then it's got to leave the vicinity. So, and it can't go north or it would close the loop, so it goes east. And where is our other 2 going to come from? It's got to be, can't be anything over here because we just don't enter those cells at all. It's got to be these 2. We got to be in and out. We can't close the loop early, so this has got to come up and link up with our pink line and keep on going through here. This needs a 2, a 3, and a 3, and we know where the 2 is. So this is a 3 and leaves, and then these are a 3, leaving at both sides. Let's clean up the left side before we move on. We've taken care of all of the cells that this one sees, so let's mark those out. And this one also has seen everything that's going to see, and we can't get to this cell anymore. Here we've got a turn. Could link up here. And in fact, this clue says that we only have length 2s around here. If this went north, it would have to be at least length 3. So this does go east and link up. And this one's not going to be visited because it's a dead end. So we need to find 2 more 2s around here. This can't close early, so it's going to keep on going. This is going to be the beginning of a 2 or a 4. Not enough information to go on there. We need a 2 and a 2 here. And this cell tells us how that's going to work, because if this were used by the loop, both of these would have to be as well. We'd have a 3 here. So that's not in the loop. We have 2s on both sides here. This one's got to come up and around just to continue the loop. This has got to come over, but could go down or east. This definitely, oh, this definitely doesn't go east, because if it went east, that would force this loop to close up here. So this one goes south. But still, we could go down and around, or we could go east and down here. Don't know yet. 2 and 5 makes 7. We've already identified the cell that's not used, so one of these goes all the way around. It's either around like this with the green one, or around like this with the blue one. Don't know yet. We're not going to use these cells because they are not part of our magic pattern. And let's move around the border and see the next thing that's interesting. The 2, 3. We can't visit any of these cells because, let's say this one were visited, we would have to enter it and leave it and keep going. We're going to end up having 5 cells at minimum if we visit any of these. So these are all out, leaving us with 2 and 3 in some combination. So it's either 2 or 3 and 2 or 3 to make up the rest of this. And these both are going to have to turn out. This will be the beginning of 3 cells in the range. Both viable? Yeah, because we could go down here and then leave, or we could go across here and then leave. Both of those could happen. What we can't do is have this turn north, because if it turned north, it would have to go west and close early, or go east and we've used up our 3 before it can get out. So this goes south least, and therefore has to continue till it sees 3 things and then leave. That doesn't tell us which one this is, but it's something. And here, 2 and a 6. This is going to be the one end of a 6, because 2 isn't enough to... Down here, we'd get trapped in this alley, and over here, we'd have to leave and close this loop early. So this is part of the 6, but I don't know which. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I suppose whichever one it is includes these 3. Oh yeah, we can use that because these add up to 8. So we're going to use all of these cells as part of the loop. If the 2, if the 6 went west first, the 2 left over are these 2, and this would be a dead end. So it's going to be these 6 and these 2. And this turns out and like so. So we've got a 6 and a 2. That's good. And nicely, that has resolved this one because we've got a 2, and so we've got to have a 3. Next trick. The 4 has to include these middle 3, which will be one of the 3s needed for this clue. That's fine, I suppose, but doesn't tell us too much. There's going to be something about a loop closing too early if it does X. Okay, what is it going to be? If... I was trying to think, what can't this do? If it goes down south, it's going to come out here, and that seems okay. Seems likely, in fact. If it goes east, it'll have to do the same thing. Can't go north. It can't go north. Okay, so it either goes south, being the end of the 4, and then has to turn around here and go north, or it goes east and has to go north. Either way, it's going north. Can't go in here because then we'd have 1, 2, 3 and we would be stranded. So it keeps on going, turns left, begins the 3. Those are the 3. And then it keeps on going somewhere. So this either loops down here and takes care of the 4, or goes east and this goes down here and takes care of the 4. I'm sure we'll disambiguate that using this stuff somehow. Is there a parity thing going on? Parity, not parody. By which I mean, if we segment off any arbitrary part of the grid, say this part, we need an even number of entrances and exits because this is a loop. So maybe we can find some area that becomes a contradiction if we have a line crossing it or not crossing it. That seems like a fruitful potential. But I don't see what it is. Okay. So yeah, taking this example just to show what I mean. Let's have this go. I'm going to use the auxiliary crosses. This isn't what they normally mean. I'm just using them to delimit the area I'm talking about. Okay, so this area needs to have 3 places where the loop enters and leaves. And we have 3 possibilities. We've got this one, we've got this one, and this one. And for that number to be even, the number of entrances and exits, 2 is the only option. So 2 out of the 3 are used, and that may mean nothing. I'm just kind of illustrating what I'm thinking about. Get rid of those. Okay, so I'm wondering if I can apply that idea anywhere to say force this end to connect over here or to go over here. If we knew that, then there'd be some other knock-on effects, I think. This cell can't go north and west. It doesn't have to be entered at all. I keep trying to use simple loop logic, but that a lot of that is dependent on knowing that each cell is used in the answer, and we don't know that. What clues are unused? This one, I don't know if that's particularly interesting. Is one of these options a problem? If this is the 5, let's say this side is the 5, just speculatively. Then these both have, this has to leave. And, oh, that is a problem. Okay, let me see if I can see that in a simpler way. Maybe it's just if this turns left, then this can't go here because it would close the loop early. This has to go around here. Now we've used up the 2 that are allowed here, and this has to go north, and then we've closed this loop. Okay, there might be an easier way to see that. If so, please let me know in the comments, but I think that's proof that this can't turn left and leave. So this has got to be the 5, and this has got to be the 2, and it's got to leave. And once we've done that, we can see that in this region, we have, let's use this thing that I talked about before. There's a couple ways to see this, but in this 3x3 region, we need an even number of entrances and exits, and there are only 2 candidates. I mean, 0 would be allowed if it were enclosing the entire, all loop-ish cells in the whole grid, but otherwise we're going to need a positive even number, and so it's going to have to be at least 2, and there are only 2 possibilities. So that's one of them, and that's one of them. That's one way to see this. And then this has to close here, this connects here, and we've got some stuff. This clue has become interesting because we've got to cross this line for this endpoint to get out. This is crossed, and therefore, because of the 222, it doesn't do either of those things. It's got to escape on both sides, and this can't go up where it's a dead end. That connects there. Don't connect early. We've got to have another segment of length 2 along here, so we do that. We've entered here. We need this to be the endpoint of a 2 or a 4. If this goes south, it's going to keep on going and be a length of 3. This goes east. This can't go north anymore. It goes east. 2 is not enough because we closed the loop early. So 3, 4. This is a 2. These both have to leave. Don't close this loop early. And this has to come out this way. Great. We've tackled a lot more of the grid now. Can we go back to our initial question about 1s and figure out at this point which of these 2 is the 1 or which of these 4 is the 1? A 1, let's look at this one. Let's see if we can, let's start with this one. There are only 2 options. So could this be the 1 clue? I think that's okay. It could hook up there, keep on going up there. It seems not obviously broken. If this is, then this comes up like that. Not obviously broken. This one for this clue, if this is the 1, that is broken, because this has got to go this way and this has got to go up, closing that loop. So it isn't this corner. That might be the only one that we're going to see, though, right now. Maybe we can think about which of the 8 cells around here can be not used by the loop. Since this adds up to 7, only one of these is excluded. It can't be this one, because if it were, we'd have a dead end here. Same thing here. We can't have it be this one, or we'd have a dead end. Might be the only 2, but that actually tells me that this is not used by the loop, because if it were, we'd have 3, which is fine for this clue, but breaks this clue. So this is out. And that might tell us what's going on, because we now know that all of these 7 cells are used by the loop. I spoke too soon. That doesn't tell me what's going on. But in the words of my favorite protagonist of late from The Residents. That is interesting. We've got this loop has two ends that both need to escape. One of them is going to come through here, and so this doesn't go east because that would prevent that. So it does come through here. Here's our 3, so that doesn't connect. I'm going to remove the circles as I do that. So this turns north. We've got 2 ends that will connect here. This has got to keep on going north. This has to be part of the loop, so we've got to go in there and turn, which means it's part of the 3, which means this is the 1. And we've seen 2 cells here, so we only get 1 over here. So that's not part of the loop. This connects here. Hopefully that was understandable as I muddled through that part. So here we have to turn. I think the rest is going to come together. That was the hard part for me. This has got to keep on going. It's got to turn. We've seen all 4 that we're going to get here. So this is not part of the loop. So this keeps going. This is not part of the loop. Nor is that. Nor is that. That would be a dead end. This comes north. And this probably, I don't know if I know. Oh, this 2-4 has taken up all of the possible cells around that clue. So this doesn't turn left, it goes north. It connects up there. We have this not part of the loop. Those were dead ends. This comes down this way. Can't close early. Comes down here. Turn left to not close. South. This certainly can't go left, so it goes down, and that's the 3 we need of the 2, 2, 3. So 3, 2, 2, not in the loop. This comes down here. This is not in the loop. This turns here. This one's got to go left, and then it's got to go south. And that is how we solve a supersized Tapa-Like loop.